want to thank our sponsors who help each week put out the content for these podcasts as we invite different people from throughout the community to tell their story. So sincerely, Soul Source Restoration. Check them out, soulsourcerestoration.com. If you ever have an issue with water damage, mold, fire damage, they're there to help. It's a local Cranston company that's supporting not only this podcast, but people every day throughout the community. Check them out. Thank you for our sponsor. What's going on Rhode Island? We're on a special episode today of the Park Podcast. We're with two of the fighters of this up-and-coming show, Rough N Rowdy 19, Victoria and Damani. Are you guys excited? We're a couple nights out from fight night. How did you get involved in fighting? I believe you are an all-American wrestler. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, started wrestling. Been wrestling my whole life. So, from New York, two-time All-State back there. And then I transferred out here to Rhode Island, went to Johnson & Wales, where I was a two-time All-American there, ranked number 1 in the country for a while, and now transitioning into this fight game. So I got on board because she's a superstar. So
That's
I was like, yeah, get me on the card. She literally hit up the promoter, and 2 seconds later I was on the card. So I was like, all right, cool.
You're still amateur status?
Yeah, we're laying low right now. Well, not anymore, but it's happening.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
And then you've already been on the show. I remember hearing your story, former cheerleader turned fighter. And how did that happen? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I did it 3 years ago when they came to Providence for the first time. Getting involved with that was so weird because I was just trying to take on boxing seriously. And then the promoter comes to our gym and they're like, do you want to do it too? And I was like, sure, why not? Good practice. Little do I know, last minute now I'm the main event of this show. Walking out, I'm like, where am I? Blacked out through that whole experience. But now again, I saw they were coming back to Providence, and I kind of fumbled last time. I was invited back to Miami and West Virginia, and I was like, I just kind of want to stick to this amateur boxing thing, be taken more seriously. But this time around, I'm like, all right, let's just have some fun. Yeah. And I'm like, let's do it again.
There you go. I love that. And since that last fight, you fought some amateur fights.
Yeah, I just won the Southern New England Golden Gloves last January. That was back-to-back, so that was a Friday night fight win, and then a Saturday night fight and win.
So having fun, ego still gets in, and as a former champion, you still want to win, right? Going into Friday, so
winning everything,
yeah. Right? So who are you guys fighting? Tell us a little bit about your opponents.
I'm fighting this kid named the Dragon. I think his name is Joaquin Jimenez. I really don't know too much about him. I think this is his first fight. But
has he called you out?
Of course, he's called me out. I saw a video last week. Video of him outside wherever, and he was on the video. He's like, I'm coming December 9th. The world's gonna know who I am, the Dragon. And then he was like, I'm gonna drag my balls across his face. I was like, whoa. I was
damn.
Dude doesn't even know who I am. And he's talking crazy, but it comes with this event, so it's.
How much of that do you take personal, or no, it's part of the promotion and just?
I don't take any of it personal, but it's gonna feel personal. When I'm bashing his face, and I'm like, yeah, remember them balls? And gotta kill him.
I'm literally I'm nervous for this kid.
How about you? Have you been called out?
Yeah. So I'm fighting this girl named Heather One Shot McDonald. She's done a couple tough men. Yeah, One Shot. I don't think she's ever knocked someone out, so I'm praying for her. But she's fought I think 2 or 3 tough mans. She has all 3 wins or 2, whatever it is. But I think that's a different style than she's used to. I don't think she's ever had an actual boxer in front of her. So
I've been fortunate enough to manage fighters and help with PR throughout many different fighters throughout their careers. Lewis being one of them, who I know has been an influence on both of you. Lewis, the rock star Felix. Mm-hmm. What kind of training goes involved in this fight coming up on Friday, and how long have you both been at it?
Well, I was actually in a training camp for a USA boxing match that got canceled. That was, I think, 2 weeks ago. So that training, the second that fight was done and didn't actually happen, I had to completely switch to a different style of training. Now we're doing spurts of 1-minute rounds, nonstop punching, because you don't have that 2 minutes to feel someone out. You just have to completely go in and balls to the wall. You're brawling with this person. So it just was a different kind of training as far as getting our cardio up and stuff like that.
Yeah. And yourself?
Well, we pretty much got an identical schedule, but I'm going every day. I'm still coaching over at Johnson & Wales as well, so I get over there at 3:45 to about 6, then I go train wherever. So I feel like 3 days out of the week I'm with Coach Vic, right? He's been with
who's one of the
Felix,
best.
you know. So he took me in. He actually brought me in for one of Gary's like fight camps to help him out, and he saw me wrestling with Gary. He's like, come on. So he kind of took me in with open arms, and I've just been doing the striking ever since. So our training, again, is like 3 days a week, just kind of catch up to the grappling. And then when I'm not with him, I'm over at Triforce with Pete and those guys over there.
Some of the best in the business.
Yeah, so I'm training with these pro-level athletes every day. So this is just going to be another day.
Which helps your mindset.
Yeah, of course.
And how about yourself? Where are you doing most of your training?
So I go to Triforce like once a week for sparring and stuff, but I'm mostly at Rockstar with Coach Vic. I travel a lot to like the Boston area so I can get some sparring because there's like no female boxers around here. So I'm doing that like 2-3 times a week. So.
And now that you've made this transition into this next fight, you can't fight amateur anymore.
No, so USA Boxing officially like told me that if you take this fight, like there's no more USA Boxing for you. You would either have to go pro or kind of just do like smokers or like other sanctioning bodies, but there's not too many around. So
you're excited for this transition into your career?
Yeah, so next move would either for us to continue to do Rough N Rowdy, and like I know they're going to plan on doing like four a year, so we're hoping to hop on that and kind of just tour around with them. And then after that, like my only option would be to go pro or go in the MMA direction.
And what did that do for your platform from the original fight?
I would say like I didn't even like use it as much as I could, and I got a good amount of followers from it. Probably got like extra 4,000 followers from doing it the first time. And I think this time if we just kind of like play our cards right, it's gonna be the same thing. Just gaining a bigger following if I do go pro. At the end of the day, you want to make fans, and like that's what makes you valuable as a pro. So
sure. And yourself? What are you looking forward to out of this experience? I mean, you have a pretty amazing career already as an athlete, right? Being All-American, wrestling at that level is not easy. You know what kind of time and investment you've had to make into yourself. Sure. Obviously, it's not over. You want to take those experiences and what you've learned in this process of fighting to the next level.
Yeah, of course.
So where do you go from here?
Hopefully, we get on this tour, right? I'm for the people, so I'm an entertainer at the end of the day, you know. Yeah, I want to win at everything, but at the same time, I enjoy it all. You know, I soak it all up because where I'm from, a lot of people don't get opportunities like this. They don't even make it out of where we're from. So it's I call it black hole. So just being out here and being in Rhode Island in itself is just a blessing. So I kind of take it every day and just smile with it. So I'm gonna go here, put on a performance. We got costumes. We got gadgets, we got toys, everything. Like, you know, we're out here for the people. I might even try to jump in the crowd, you know. So try to make an impression, get on this world tour, do that, and then if we have to postpone the MMA start, then we'll do that because again, you're gonna build your brand, gain that following, and then if you get backed by a company like Barstool, it's crazy. Yeah. So why not?
It's interesting. I was nightclub promoting when Barstool was first coming out, and literally just interviewing on Barstools. I don't know if you know the history, but that's how they started. And then to see what it's evolved to where it is today, to have the platform to give you both an outlet to be seen throughout the country, right, throughout the nation. Even on a show like this, it can open a lot of doors. And you spoke on kind of where you grew up and how you're a hope or an inspiration to others that I imagine grew up in your neighborhood. What kind of pressures are added to you, knowing that you're kind of outside of the norm? You've gotten out of that situation. If you don't mind talking about it.
I mean, of course not. It's just where I'm from. We're like 45 minutes north of the city. So when people ask, "Hey, what part of New York you're from?" and I say Newburgh, people go, "What?" So we're not upstate, but upstate. Yeah. So, but we don't have that much money up there. You know, there's certain parts it's like diverse. Went to a high school where I had a graduation class of 1,200, but only 640 graduated. We had like a 64% graduation rate. So it's not the best neighborhood, right? It's not the best place to be. So doing stuff like this is just like, all right, give these people hope, right? Give my people hope. Let them know, hey, there's a way out of here, right? Yep. Don't try to be a block boy for the rest of your life. Don't be a troublemaker, right? Let's be something better. So that was my route. I took the wrestling, and I'm like, all right, what can I do to get to college? How can I get out of here? So found the wrestling. I was like, okay, I'm good at it. You know, it's not, I don't need to be tall. I don't need to be the fastest. But it was my lane, and that was my lane to get out of there, which is a blessing in itself. So I'm thankful every day for it.
Amen. And I imagine you had to be, if you're giving advice to someone that's in the same situation you were, you had to be consistent. You had to put day in and day out, get up during the tough days, right?
For sure.
Get in the gym, figure out a way to find solutions to improve your situation.
We don't even have Uber over there, so it's like, if you
had to figure it out.
Yeah, if you need to walk to practice, walk to practice. You know, put in the time because it's gonna pay off in the long run.
Yeah. Amen. And how about yourself? You had a different path to fighting. What does fighting mean to you, or what advice would you give to others, females, because there's not as many in the sport that would want to get involved in it?
Yeah, for me, like, I started kickboxing just kind of for fun, like when I was 12, and it was just like an outlet to kind of like clear my mind, and always kind of kept me like mentally in a good place. So from there, like, I kept telling my trainers, I'm like, oh, I really want to fight. And they're like, you know, like, there's another level to actually fighting, and I don't think you should do it. And a lot of people just didn't take me seriously because the way I did look. And then when I met, like, my first real kickboxing trainer, Charlie Sampalis, have you ever heard of him? Yeah. So he was, like, the first person to really take me seriously. And we'd meet at the Big Six, and, like, we'd work out all the time. And he took me to New York once, and he was sick, but he still, like, drove hours down to just like be in my corner. And I just met like a lot of good people through being in the gym, and spent a lot of time like just kind of focusing on myself and like growing to be like a better version of myself. And after my first fight in New York, this little girl came up to me, and she was like, oh, like, that's so cool, like, I want to be just like you. And then her dad was like, can you take a picture with me with her? And I was like, yeah. So like that for me was the moment where I decided like I want to box, and I want to be something different than like the average girl that looks the way that I do. So
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to Friday. Does fear come into the life going into a fight like this?
I'm afraid for his opponent. That's the only thing I'm scared for. That poor kid.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't overlook anyone, so, you know, they can say he has no fights and he's amateur level with no fights or no nothing. I'm not going to overlook him, but at the end of the day, I got to get mine just how he's trying to get his. And my mindset won't allow me to be afraid. The nerves make me feel human, but afraid, no. Like, I've been through some of the toughest things a person has to go through already, so I'm going to get out there, and if you want to swing and bang, let's get it. Like, I'm no fear, so I'm just going to go out there and let it fly.
I like it.
Yeah, I spend so much time in the gym and so much time like sparring and stuff that like this is just another day. Like, I'm not going to be afraid. I have all the tools. I have all the training, so. And
can you manifest or see how you're going to win? You know, when in the training process, do you kind of go through that process with a coach or with yourself of this is how I think I'm going to end my opponent? Does that happen to you at all?
Yeah, of course. There's always game plans, right? So we kind of just, all right, go in there, fake something and throw the overhand, try to put them out. So I'm like, if that happens, it happens. But an event like this, you never know. This guy might try to slam me. If he tries to slam me, then we're going to be out there wrestling. Yeah. And he doesn't want to wrestle me. So,
yeah.
I feel like the game plan is to have no game plan and just be like prepared for anything.
Sure.
Yeah.
As is life, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So how can people find out more about the two of you? Anything you want to plug? Social media, Instagram?
We're both on Instagram. My Instagram is Vicky D'Errico. I post a lot about this event, like what time the weigh-ins will be and everything. So that's going to be Thursday night. That's open to the public at the AMP, which used to be the Dunkin' Donuts Center.
Yep. And the fight is Friday
at 8 p.m.
Yeah. And yourself? How can people follow you?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, BurnsBoyX7. That's me. Find me through Drewu Wrestling page as well. And probably 1,000 other pages, like Team Rockstar Sports, Triforce MMA. But yeah, weigh-ins Thursday, fight Friday, and then we go from there. We take on the world.
And as you're fighting, you're also coaching.
I am.
So that's an interesting perspective, right? Because I'm sure you're both realizing how much a coach can have an influence on your own personal development, and as you're also doing it while you're also personally developing, you're also giving those lessons to others. How does that make you feel?
It's just makes me think of life coming full circle, because there's so many people that helped me in my rise to where I'm at and still helping me today. So just for me to be in a position where I can give back and spread some of the knowledge that I've gained through the years I wouldn't trade it for nothing. So that's why I kind of still coach and do this, coach, fight, and that's just how it's going to be.
Amen. Anything else you guys want to plug?
Yeah, for the most part, I'm just happy to be here. So
I appreciate learning a little bit more about both of your stories individually. I'm excited. I think you both are very young and explosive brands that can propel to whatever you guys want to take it, guys and girls, right? So I'm very excited for Friday night. I appreciate you both taking the time out of your training schedules and coaching schedules this week to be here. Tell the viewership a little bit more about yourselves, and I'm looking forward to, win or lose, just kind of watching your hopefully win. I'm going to say win-win, but sometimes I've learned most of my biggest lessons in loss too, right? So I'm very, very excited. I've learned a lot about the two of you, not only today, but through Lewis and through other coaches that are within your support system. And I'm really excited for what the future holds for the two of you. So,
thank you.
Yeah, thank you
Thanks
for being
having
here.
us.
Of course. Thanks for checking out a special edition of the podcast. Make sure you tune in on Friday night and watch them on Rough N Rowdy 19 Barstool Sports.
Oh, yeah.